What's up, people? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the typical Respawn recap. Nick, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Ready to roll?
Yes.
Let's do it. I love you. And as per usual, Nicholas, when it comes to Fortnite events, it is really impressive what they do when it comes time for the draw of player base and viewership. We saw it with Chapter 2, Season 3, a gigantic change that we really don't see with other esports, that being the elemental nature change, bringing water all over the map. You know, I will give it, we give Fortnite credit. Obviously, there are two sides to the story with every Fortnite thing we cover, and this being just a gigantic viewership they do draw in. Travis Scott, the End of the World event, this one now even seeing further records of over 12 million viewers, or 12 million players in game, over 8 million viewers across Twitch and YouTube. It's crazy to see how groundbreaking they continue to be over just seasonal updates.
I thought it was only 6 million. I'm like surprised to hear this right now.
It was over 6 million alone on YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube alone.
Meanwhile, Twitch is breaking with over 2.3. I think they actually garnered from the original teaser. That was a teaser for the event. Now that season is actually here, which leads us very shortly into our, which will be a developing story on this channel, guys. As we do see the viewership and the player base do just fine around these big events, when it comes time for all of these streamers also coming back for the big events, they shortly after leave, and with it, the viewership tails off. So I don't know really sure where this is going to go. I know there's definitely a lot of fans of Fortnite out there, but certainly a lot of critics. And now with half the map underwater, we'll see if the viewership also goes under. You know, usually, Nicholas, we're here to talk about some crazy stuff when it comes to the Fortnite scene. Last week, it was all about those crazy, weird stories for a few pro players out there. This week, it was actually Call of Duty, and complete chaos is what we called it. We saw our top 3 teams all fall at our last event, that being the Huntsman, that being FaZe, that being Empire. Along with that, we also saw the pros continuing to complain about issues inside the game itself. Other pros like Scraps even threatening to quit the game. We saw our first injury, thumbs. You know, you need those.
Yeah, you need those.
You name it. It's just pretty crazy to see. Even another story out there was the winner of the event, Florida Mutineers, recently added another new member. The second time this season they've added a new person and then taken the following title. Online may it be, but it's just kind of crazy to see all of the chaos we continue to see when it comes time for esports events.
Very upsetting to see from like all sides around, especially the Seattle Surge situation with that whole 40-minute drought of gameplay. That was painful to watch and to even just hear about and see you talking about on your videos. Like, come on,
stay tuned.
Just give these guys a chance, man.
And you're not sure, like, obviously you can't be too mad you can't be mad at FaZe, and you really can't be. What is the league to do? I think
it's rigged.
So you're one of them. And so it's tough because you're put in a sticky situation where what does the league do? They probably face a lot of backlash, even if they have the matches keep on playing without cast or other audio. And so, you know, obviously it's kind of a set precedent. Now a rule has been set in place. With that being said, though, as we slowly approach COD Champs, whether or not it will be online or on LAN, the chaos, it continues. All right, Nicholas, now we talk about the nudity, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Ooh.
You know, last time I saw you, we talked about Tfue getting a little naked,
and myself doing it too
in the bathroom. You know, with the and now we actually talk about this past week. It was unfortunately for xQc a 24-hour ban. That being after witnessing 2 animals. I believe they were gorillas.
Getting it on.
They were getting it on. Unfortunately, so I went back. I watched that clip. I really looked at that clip, and I really don't, besides seeing a few cheeks here and there, okay, obviously because of that, he faced a 24-hour ban, referencing back to, though, even his response being pretty disappointed, you know, stating he had actually had a reason to be mad, but he wasn't going to argue it because of everything going on right now, bigger problems in the real world. Obviously referencing back, though, I think, to Pokimane getting a warning for showing more blatant nudity to a lot of people out there, which brings to light a very hairy rule of animal nudity and real people nudity on Twitch.
What's the middle ground here? Like, what's okay to watch? I'm glad it wasn't more than 24 hours,
yes.
though, you know? Like, if it was anything more than that, I'd be like, that's BS.
Yeah.
But as you've mentioned, you know, that's kind of like the example of, maybe double standards on Twitch, but also, you know, when you're in good standing with the platform,
yes,
you're going to have a better track record and be more favorable. So obviously xQc has been through his amount of turmoil, I guess, throughout the platform. So,
and I'm glad that we can actually, you know, talk about that, understand that a little bit. Obviously, it's not fair what happened, but you know, a lot of times Twitch does have context, as apparently context and intent does matter. In this case, I wasn't too upset by it, but I totally understand why people would be. We would never be here if Twitch had just banned Alinity right away and banned Pokimane right away. And also in the past week, of course, what's a good old week of esports and gaming without some cheaters potentially and some aimbotters? Definitely curious on your thoughts on this one, Nicholas. That being good old NRG Symphony, former Fortnite pro, I would call him, also content creator for NRG and a streamer, has now been accused based off a couple clips. People have been actually surfacing clips around him for some time. Nothing in comparison to like Shroud. Shroud has dozens of clips out there, but certainly blew up this past week as Symphony and Shroud and Myth and NRG and Hitch and all these other content creators came to the defense of Symphony and said he was not cheating. He's just that nutty. So what did you think about after seeing it all?
Not cheating. I don't think so.
Yeah?
Possible. It's like completely possible. Obviously, I can't completely downplay the fact that he might be. But from what I've seen, you know, like he transfers to like 2 different targets, right? And then I think he goes to like the wall and the truck.
Yeah.
I believe that he might have just heard him. Like that's completely possible. You know, if he didn't, then intuition.
The thing is, Symphony actually responded and said he's done this he did it on purpose in the clip
Trolls
as well,
people.
baiting out people.
Yeah.
Just like and Shroud responded saying, "I've been doing this for so long."
Yeah.
And so it sucks though because I understand a little bit, guys. I don't think he's cheating, but I understand a little bit where these people come from when all of a sudden, if all these people can say, "Oh, I did it on purpose," at what point do we draw a line and say,
just like,
you're
is that
not
an
reputable
excuse?
enough or big enough to use that as an excuse?
Yeah.
Luckily enough for Symphony, he has a gigantic audience, gigantic followers, and gigantic people defending him. But what do you guys think? Was he cheating? And in light of all the Twitch stuff happening with DMCA strikes and takedown requests with music, we have seen several artists out there now come and actually allow some albums to individual streamers or their music entirely to some streamers out there. One of the biggest ones we covered this past week was actually Drake. Apparently NICKMERCS just hit him up, said, "Hey man, can I use your music or what?" And dude, I had this tweet typed out and it sounded like my mom made it. I was like, apparently Mr. Drizzy allowed NICKMERCS to use his music.
Mr. Drizzy.
But the cool part is with everything we've been talking about, you know, hear me out, guys. Drake is actually obviously a FaZe Clan by association. He's an investor into FaZe Clan, which NICKMERCS is now tied to. But he's also an investor, we know that for sure, a direct investor into 100 Thieves, NICKMERCS' former organization, and the organization of Nadeshot, who has been streaming quite frequently as well. And so it just brings to light a lot of different...
That's actually very funny that you mentioned that. Wow, I had no idea. It must be great to have those connections though,
Right?
man. Like you play video games for a living and you know one of the top like musical artists in the world, or you know it was for a time at least.
Not to mention all the connections we probably don't know, just for him being from 100 Thieves and now in FaZe Clan, and just him being NICKMERCS in general. It's just really crazy to think that, and of course it's NICKMERCS fashion, right? Fourth of the webcam, and he's like, hit up Drizzy, and he said, "Yeah, I can use your music." It's just super cool to see. Other artists continue to allow their music as well. KSI, Whit Lowry, AJ Tracy, plenty of others, and we'll see who is next. Oh God, I just meant to roll my tongue there. Thank you all for watching the Respawn. He's gonna keep that rolling, I just know it. Thank you all for watching the Respawn recap, guys. Same time, same day, every single week. Nick,
Yeah.
hit him with it, dog.
Hit.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Flat.